former England footballer Wayne Bridge was harangued in the ring at the Misfits event last weekend where Darren Till defeated Anthony Taylor. After that event, they stepped into the ring together. They were scheduled to fight soon. Wayne Bridge was going to be KSI's next opponent. And this is the point where we discuss whether smack talk and sledging and trying to emasculate people in the build-up to a fight went too far or not. Now, KSI brought up a very painful past experience for Wayne Bridge, extramarital affairs, these kind of things, but he did it in a very, very brutal way, I thought. And Bridge pulled out of the fight 2 days later, and he said on Instagram, "These are deeply personal comments that affect mine and other families involved in the situation. I'm a family man first, and my priority is protecting them. Of course, I expected to face some criticism, but I feel like what was said on Saturday crossed a line." Now, Spencer, I thought it was distasteful. I thought it was fairly lurid. We know that KSI is a very smart kid with multiple businesses, 25 million followers. Should he have been talking about these kind of things, extramarital affairs, in the ring, straight away sledging Wayne Bridge?
No, is the answer. I think that there's a line that you don't cross, and I think that, yeah, I get the selling the fight and the trash talk, and I get the YouTuber style and what it's all about, that WWE /theatre /boxing. Get it, totally understand it, but there is a line, a code of conduct between men that you do not cross, and he crossed that line. I mean, bringing up that, I spoke to Wayne Bridge about it afterwards, straight afterwards when he was on his way home, and he said that he was going to pull out of the fight for these reasons. He's got children now that have grown up, they're older, they understand it, and they don't need to dig them things up. Wayne doesn't need the money, and he said, listen, I wanted to go in there because I wanted to test myself, and I realised it was a trigger moment. I made a mistake because this kid I knew has got no filter. And he went too far, Gareth, yeah.
Well, obviously it involved an affair. John Terry was involved and all of this kind of business. But what I think happened on the night was Wayne Bridge was holding back, maybe wasn't prepared for it, was holding back. We'd almost, and I'm pushing the boundaries here, almost wanted, you're watching it and you almost want him to smack KSI for saying it. I think a lot of people would have done that. You could tell that he was boiling inside. For me, there's a line on people who've passed. We had it with Leon Edwards and his opponent, Kobe Covington,
yeah,
in when he talked about the dead father of Leon Edwards in a very despicable way.
Distasteful.
No, despicable as
yeah.
well. Detestable, but also despicable. You don't speak ill of the dead. There are. You don't speak ill of really, really bad personal things that have happened to people. I thought it was poor, very, very poor.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. I think there was a line that just was totally overstepped, and I think, and I think Wayne Bridge done the right thing. He took that moral ground and he said, you know what? Don't need this. Don't need the money.
He doesn't need the money over his own morality.
No, absolutely.
And I thought it was a great
respect.
Look, people like we'll come to the clip from earlier in the week where it was being discussed on White and Jordan in a minute. But there are lines in boxing. For example, Deontay Wilder has said, "I want a body in my career, body in a bag during my career. I want to kill someone." Where are those lines with those kind of things for you in boxing?
He was not talking about any one individual, so you just get that. That's just trash talk, and that's the Deontay Wilder, and selling himself and like saying that he was not talking about any one individual. So I say, I understand. I know where he's going. All he's doing is creating headlines, because that's the world that we live in today. Is all about things going viral, headlines. So he said that, and he achieved what he wanted to achieve. But there are certain lines, certain places you do not go.
David Haye crossed the line a few times, was after headlines. I'm not even going to repeat what he said about Audley Harrison. I'm not going to repeat what he said about the Klitschko's, but he got headlines at the time. One of the biggest headlines ever was Mike Tyson when he was fighting Lennox Lewis. He said he was going to eat his children.
Yeah.
He talked about pushing someone's nose up into their brain. Was that over the limit?
I think that was when he knocked out Lou Savaris up in Scotland, actually. He talked about wanting Lennox Lewis and eating his children straight after the fight.
Lennox had no children at the time, by the way.
Absolutely. But no, again, that was not because he wasn't actually it was him trying to get that fight fight with Lennox Lewis at the time because he was on that comeback trail, and like I say, Lou Savarese, and he said, Lennox Lewis, I want to eat his children. That was just the heat and emotion. I understand that. That's that theatre stuff. I think that the personal stuff like that, like, there's a code of conduct, man, that you just don't do, and I think that KSI overstood it straight away, and that was on day one.
Did Wayne Bridge miss the opportunity to plant one on him then?
Oh, absolutely.
Would he feel better today?
You could understand him doing that without a doubt. No, I spoke to him afterwards about it. We spoke just the other day about it, and he said, you know what, I'm a man
should
of
have pulled
peace.
the trigger.
I'm a man of peace. He said, no. He said, I just had a trigger moment where I should have known it would have happened, and it didn't. I put myself into a stupid situation just because I wanted another challenge. I'm 47 years of age. I wanted to test myself, and that was a great opportunity. I was getting well paid, but didn't think about what I was going into with the YouTubers and where they go, no filter, and obviously he was going to rebirth that. And he said it was just a silly mistake, and he'll try and do it somewhere else with someone else, but obviously not with KSI or Misfits. And it was a schoolboy error from Wayne's point, I think.
Do you think we're going to get a lot of animosity and maybe some below the belt stuff when Conor Benn and Chris Eubank go at it for the next 3 months?
100%. Of course we are. Look at the history that goes back, the family feuds going back over 30 years with the fathers, and it's continued with the sons. They hate each other, and hate is a strong word, by the way, but they do hate each other. That is a fact. They may respect each other as fighters, but they do hate each other, and there'll be a lot of trash talk in that build-up.
And they're going to hate each other all the way to those big, huge bank payments as well. Earlier this week, Simon Jordan shared his thoughts on Wayne Bridges' decision to pull out of his fight against YouTube-turned boxer KSI.
I mean, I am in the same place that he's in. I mean, these guys are commanding big audiences. I have a just turned 17-year-old daughter who's a major fan of KSI, much to my eternal chagrin. And when I saw the clip, I thought, Wayne, you must have expected that. You like Trigger out of Only Fools and Horses. You're a bit gongless. And then I listened to it more, and I think it's so unedifying. And listen, it is public domain stuff. And we have seen, I mean, this is not professional boxing. This is Misfits. So we have to give it the qualification. But I do think it was an undignified, unedifying, unnecessary outburst. We do see people say very unpalatable things to sell fights. We've seen Deontay Wilder tell everybody that he wants to have a body on his record. We heard Mike Tyson turning around saying he wants to eat Lennox Lewis's children and things of that nature. Yeah. And so we know that these people can say stupid things. But I think that what Wayne Bridges' statement, if Wayne himself has drafted it, is a very balanced and fair and mature statement, and basically a message to this individual. I mean, what a way to behave. What a thing to have said.
I think the key is, are you selling the fight or are you denigrating the person? And I think that doesn't sell the fight. It didn't. What would have sold the fight is if he'd hit him. Because then we would have had a war on our hands. Because there would have been a massive melee. It would have generated more than there was a lot of disgust at what was said, and I think we're talking about the sport we love, and it feels unedifying, like Simon said there. It does feel unedifying, and we look back on it now, and all it did was create a collapse of the fight.
Absolutely. As soon as KSI made those remarks, it come out of his mouth.
Marketing error.
Huge marketing error. I think that he thought he was being genius in doing that, but actually it was so distasteful that as soon as he said it, everyone went, I don't want to. I hope Wayne pulls out of that. That was the common feeling. So as soon as Wayne released that statement on his Instagram, straight away you look at the comments on there, and everyone's saying, "Well done, mate. You took the moral high ground. You done the right thing."
And finally, on Misfits, we've covered a few events. I don't have any issue with it. It's boxing until the bell rings. Darren Till looked pretty good, sharp shooting.
Yeah, done well.
He's a sniper with the left hand. He may get the fight with KSI next, he may not. He looked big in there as well. Bit of a mismatch against Anthony Taylor, frankly, who survived for longer than I thought he was going to do. At the end of the day, he was a wrestler and an MMA guy. Taylor, that is. How are we feeling about obviously we were at Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, which was a kind of Misfits type of event as well. How are we feeling about where Misfits is going, Spencer?
Yeah, listen, I think it's got its own home, and and I've got nothing against it at all. I enjoy it. It's entertainment. It captures a crowd. It's not your boxing purist crowd. And, the boxing purists will watch the shows that we commentate on week in, week out, because that is real boxing and the big stuff going on now over in Saudi Arabia.
As long as we know what it is, then. As long as we know,
as long as you understand what it is, it's got a home for it and a place for it.
25-year-olds there, and they're all in at 7 and they all leave at 11.
Listen, I'm one of those guys that will watch them shows because I enjoy it. I understand.
Do you remember how much we laughed with the 2 versus 2 tag team boxing up in Manchester?
I thought it was
brilliant.
brilliant.
We did not stop laughing.
I thought it was brilliant, but when I heard that was happening, that's a great example actually. When I heard that was happening, I thought, this is insane, barbaric. This is like ludicrous.
But
how
we
can they allow
enjoyed
it to happen?
actually, didn't we? Weirdly,
it worked.
As a bizarre spectacle, it worked.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it, Gareth. So listen, I understand there's a place for it, and I enjoy that space. And that's as long as people don't think that is boxing, then enjoy it.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.